It doesn't matter to me.
Welcome, guys.
All right. Do you want to bring up the slideshow?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to see you guys here. And guys, please make sure you, if you have any questions, you know, we have a question and answer period at the end of this. So feel free to unmute yourself. You can also drop in the chat. So if there's something that we bring up and you're afraid that you're going to forget while we go through the presentation, please feel free to drop it in the chat. This is your time. This is your time with us. And we love questions, okay? So I'm going to screen share here.
Awesome.
Here we go.
All right. So like Danielle said, welcome to all of you that are joining us live and the rest of you that are tuning into the recording. My dog chooses right now to play with a squeaky toy of all times, right? It's not the kids, it's the dog. So just ignore that in the background. So welcome. Tonight we are going to share what this business has done for us. You're going to hear a little bit from our CEO of our company, and he is an absolutely incredible gentleman. Then you're going to hear what some of our objections were in the very beginning that held us back, and then how you can get started. And then you're going to have a question and answer period. So we have lots of fun. We are open books. So there is no question that is off limits to any of us. I know I'm speaking for the other girls too, but we answer anything and everything because we would never want you to be convinced that this is something for you. We want you to be informed and have all of your questions and hesitations or any of those things worked through so that you can make that decision for yourself, whether this is right for you or not. So I think Danielle's up first, if I'm right. That's our schedule and how we're going to go through.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So this is me. And this, I am a fur mom. I'm an empty nester. I've got 3 dogs. I'm a full-time coach. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I'm an ex-hairstylist, and I've been a coach since 2012. So I'm in my 10th year of this business. I'm one of the first Canadian coaches to join this business, which was really scary for me at the time because I had no idea what I was doing, but I jumped in. So my before picture on the left, because my before pictures are so old, like I have to go back to my mother's house and pull them out of books because there was no cameras or social media back then. This was actually me on the left after I'd lost 30 pounds. So when I started my journey with Beachbody, I was at 250 pounds. And I'm an ex-smoker, and I'm one of those ex-smokers who loved every cigarette they ever had. I love food. I was a junk food addict, a Diet Pepsi addict. I had a lot of habits that weren't serving me and my health, and that were holding me back. So we had a really early scare, and I always say it was actually a blessing. So when I was 30, so I'll be 45 in a couple of weeks, they were actually checking my husband and I. We had bronchitis so bad they were doing lung x-rays on us and checking for cancer spots. That scared me straight. That scared me straight. We had a young family. My husband was 37, I was 30, and I was like, whoa, like we need to change something. We need to change something quick. However, I worked 12 hours a day on my feet as a hairstylist, 6 days a week. And I thought to myself, between my work and running to karate and running to piano lessons and all the things that go along with working and raising a family, there is no way I'm getting myself to a gym. On top of that, I was very self-conscious. I'm an introverted extrovert. I was even self-conscious at that point to go outside walking. And this is when I was introduced to Beachbody. Guys, I'm not talking DVDs, I'm talking VHS. Okay. So if you're old enough to know what the VHS tapes were, that's when I started my Beachbody journey at home by moving my coffee table every morning. And my husband and I were able to lose 150 pounds together. So I had an 80-pound weight loss, but more importantly, it was how I felt on the inside, because these amazing trainers not only taught me how to take care of myself, but they also poured life into me. They also told me that how proud they were of me that I finished this workout today, and that no matter what happened in the day, that I was going to be able to handle it because of what I just did on that mat. And you know what? They were so right. They changed my mindset. They changed my approach. I knew nothing about social media, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that when it's my turn to talk about objections. I was a very pessimistic, cynical, negative person. I actually got pulled into the office when I used to work in a salon because I was causing tension amongst the other stylists. I was so negative that I had other employees complaining about me. Okay, like I was not the person that I am today. And I have to honestly tell you that it's because of this company that I've been able to change my mindset, change my health. So the very first day that coaching became available for Canadians, I jumped on board. I didn't know anything, but I knew that if this changed my life, it could change other people's lives. And that is my Beachbody story 10 years later. Oops, wrong way. Here we go.
All right. I always love your story, no matter how many times I hear it. So for any of you that don't know, I'm Rachel. I am a mom of 3. Life is busy. A 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a almost 6-year-old. So we're 6 in like a month. I am a part-time coach and I work full-time for the federal government. I'm our fur mama. We just rescued our amazing baby as she lays on the floor beside me. I've been coaching since February of 2017. In that first picture, that before picture, I was a brand new mom to my first ever child. She obviously changed my life. And I, like most new moms, wasn't taking time for myself. We barely had enough money to have oil in our tank at the house to even think about anything else on our plate. We barely had enough money for groceries, let alone eating healthy and all of those things. And I remember taking that picture. My husband took that picture because there was no smartphones then, so you didn't take selfies. And him taking that picture, when I looked at it, I was shocked that I had let myself get to that point, that I had allowed myself to get to that point in my life. And it changed then. That was back before I joined Beachbody. And then I was introduced to Insanity on DVDs, was my very first Beachbody program. And I didn't buy them from the company. I had somebody burn them for me because I didn't want a challenge pack, because I didn't want any of that. So that was my very first program with Beachbody. And then I joined my first group with Danielle and our amazing community in 2014, after we suffered our second miscarriage. And I knew that I was spiraling down a hole and I didn't quite know how to get out of it. And I knew that I needed something to focus my energy on. And those ladies in that group and that community honestly saved my life. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that very first community. Fast forward to 2017, I was standing at my kitchen table, scrolling social media, and a post come on my feed that said, "New Coach University starts tomorrow." I remember, I can still picture exactly where I was. And I took out my phone and I messaged Danielle and I said, "Sign me up. I'm done playing small. I'm done waiting for life to happen for me. I'm done living my dreams for somebody else. I'm done telling my kids we can't afford things. I'm done of it. And I haven't looked back since that day. And it's been absolutely life changing, health wise, financial wise, every aspect of my life. And I owe it all to our amazing business and community, because we're not just a business. We don't just sell challenge packs and all of those things. We actually get to work on ourselves, and that we're our number one challengers. I work on myself every single day as a byproduct of this business, because I'm the most important person in my business. So that's my after picture. I feel way better now at 36 than I have ever felt in my life before. And I can't wait to see what the next 10 years has in store for me.
Had to find the unmute. My name's Lori. I am a mom of two. They both had Christmas birthdays, just turned 12. Wait now, 13 and 14. The years fly by. I have two dogs, a cat, and I kind of have similar stories to Danielle, except for the health scare. We actually met years ago, before Beachbody ever happened. I was starting my own health journey back then. I've struggled with weight my entire life, grew up obese, started my first diet, which was lettuce and vinegar at age 12. Nobody knew anything about nutrition other than you have to lose weight. So I struggled with nutrition all of my life. And then fast forward, after having children, I decided to get into the health and wellness industry and became a personal trainer. But before that, I had lost the weight, and I can tell you it wasn't the right way. It was a very restrictive diet. I look back at pictures of myself back then, and it was everything but what it should have been. But I convinced myself I was doing the right things because I looked good and I played the role. So I got into becoming a full-time trainer, and I absolutely loved it. But then the weight started creeping on as the stress of life creeped on as well. So I was being the role of a trainer without the trainer body that everybody envisioned, and a life change happened. We moved from Nova Scotia all the way across Canada up to the far north in the Northwest Territories to an isolated community called a Clavic. It's like 2,300 miles away, like about the most northern tip you can get away from Nova Scotia. And when I moved there, things quickly spiraled down. I found myself getting more depressed. We were in 24-hour darkness, things like that. And some other life things were going on. And I remember being approached back then about Beachbody. And honestly, I really didn't know much about it other than maybe seeing a clip of or something on social media. And even though I was not feeling good myself, feeling overweight and sluggish, my first instinct was, how in the heck can a 30-minute workout provide what I knew I was doing for my clients at the gym, even though I wasn't a personal trainer at the moment. So I ignored the messages. I ghosted the person contacted me, of course, like we probably all have at some point. And it took several messages in my inbox, and this was not Danielle, although I do believe she probably contacted me, but I ghosted her as well. And I ended up doing coaching for a little bit when I was living up north. And I knew instantly that it was something good, but I didn't feel as connected to my community as I had wanted. And then life happened and I had to put the career on hold. Fast forward to May 28th of 2020. I contacted Danielle because I needed her as a coach. I had no interest in becoming a coach myself. I got to the point where I was severely anxious. I was depressed. I had put on a lot of weight. I was sitting there at 211 pounds and, crying as I'm messaging Danielle and saying, I got to do something to save my life. I need your help, but I'm not going to coach because I knew Danielle knew I had coached before. And she's like, that's all right. Don't worry about it. And so she just signed me up as a challenger. I signed up and 2 hours later, I said, okay, I'm going to be a coach. And I've already told a few people and we're starting our group on Monday. That's how quickly I decided to go into it because my why was my mental health and wellness. And I knew that if I was suffering with anxiety, depression, I look back, I'm not sure how many people are on this call from Nova Scotia, but we had just had a mass shooting the month before, which affected the mental health of a lot of people in this province. We were going through the first couple months of the pandemic. We were in lockdown. It seemed like everything was stacking on us amongst other personal things. And I thought, I can't be the only person feeling overwhelmed at this point. If I can come in and I can start to save my own life, if I can come in and just help one person, I've done my job. And that was my goal always from day one, is to help me plus one. And I continue that journey today. Mental health is still the primary focus of my groups that I run. We work on mindset, but with that and my transition, not only mentally, but physically, of course, I've added more pieces of the puzzle to it. But just like Rachel said, I truly believe that Beachbody saved my life because it gave me the tools to help save myself. And it's so much more beyond the mental part or the physical part of it, of working out and drinking Shakeology and things like that. It can be very full circle if you allow that to be, and really just come into it with the attitude of you plus one. And that's simply what it's about. Every day it's me plus one, and who can I lock arms with? And this community, Danielle's community, Inspire Tribe, who she leads, welcomed me in with open arms. From day one, I felt part of a family. I don't have brothers and sisters. My dad's an only child. We are this big, three of us sitting around a kitchen table. That's how big the family is. So when I say that Inspire Tribe is my family and my group is my family, I truly mean it. Like every time I invite a new person into my group, even in the chat on my page, I say, welcome to the family. I don't say welcome to the group. I call them my family because these people have had my back more than probably a lot of bloodline has people's backs many of the time. And I couldn't express more love for this group of people than I am right now.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So Rachel, do you want to play? Thank you guys so much for sharing your stories. Do you have the video?
I don't have it. Does Lori have it real quick? That we should have obviously figured this out before now. This just goes to show you that you do
exactly
organized and have your.
What I'll get you to do then really quick is I will get you to talk about your objection while I get the video up. Okay, Rachel?
Okay, sounds good. So that just goes to show you don't need any skills or any of that stuff to do this business. So my objection, and the biggest one that I know a lot of people struggle with is life is too busy. I can't add anything else onto my already busy schedule. So Danielle actually approached me multiple times for almost 3 years, asking me to be a coach. You're already doing all of the things a coach does. You're already sharing your workouts. You're already checking in all the groups. You're already doing all of the programs. You're sharing everything. You're sending people to me. Why aren't you doing this and earning that extra income on the side? And every single time I shot her down and said, nope, I'm too busy. Life is too busy and I can't do anything else, because at that time, we had our third amazing child, and she was 9 months old, and I was getting ready to go back to work in a few months. And the thoughts of leaving her already and then going back to work and adding something else to my schedule was just, couldn't even think about it. And she challenged me to take out a piece of paper and write down every single hour on the hour and write out what I actually did in a day. And I was blown away by how much time I waste every single day. I was wasting most of my day away, but I felt busy all the time, but never really productive. I would never really accomplish anything during the day other than keeping my children alive. But other than that, I didn't really feel accomplished, or that I did anything, or that I was intentional with my time. So I jumped all in that day, and I don't work crazy amounts of hours on my business. I am very intentional with the time that I dedicate to my business, because life is still busy. I have 3 kids. I work full time, and I do like to see my kids and my husband every now and then as well, and have that downtime with them. So I set my business hours and I work within an hour, sometimes 2 hours, 5 to 6 days a week. And I take a little bit of extra time on the weekends if I need to do some of the other stuff. But this business isn't meant to take over your life. This business is meant to enhance your life and make it better without taking away from it. So if you're one of those people that thinks you're busy, I challenge you to do the same thing. Take out a piece of paper, and for the next 3 days, not anything crazy, for the next 3 days, write out what you do every single day, from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. If you have your coffee, if you clean your house, if you're binge watching TV, if you're scrolling social media, if you're petting your dog, all of those things, write it out and see where you could possibly fit in bits and pieces of your time. Because in the beginning, I used to work on my lunch break. I used to work on my 15-minute breaks at work. I used to, playing Wordle for everybody that's on social media right now, wasting their time in the morning. I work after the kids go to bed. You would be amazed how much time you're wasting. So that was my biggest thing. And actually, I now have more time than I've ever had before. And I actually feel accomplished every single day when my head hits that pillow at night. And I'm excited for the day when I wake up. I think you have the video ready, right?
Love it. Love it. Okay. I figured it out. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel's got us on the, she's pitch hitting for us here. Oh, escape. Okay. Escape. Like escape. There we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to play this. Let me know if you can hear it.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, CEO of Beachbody, and thanks for giving me a minute to talk about how people are getting involved with Beachbody and getting incredible healthy weight loss and fitness results like this, and this, and this. We have an approach which has created so many success stories. It's not only become the in-home health and fitness phenomenon, it's become a fun and pretty compelling income opportunity. Well, that's because there's so much demand. People want to lose weight. They want a convenient and fun way to work out, which they'll actually follow through on. And they want the peace of mind knowing they are getting the nutrition they need without having to cut out entire food groups or starve themselves. Okay, let me ask you a question. Why are you considering becoming a Team Beachbody coach? Do you want to be a part of something that will help you stay consistent and committed to a healthier lifestyle for you and maybe even for your family? Does it sound interesting to earn income by helping other people get healthy without having to become a health and fitness expert? Or maybe it's to save money on our products by being a coach and maybe earning an extra income just in exchange for putting a group of people together who will follow the same program as you. So more and more people lose weight, get strong, fit, and start feeding their body in a way that truly helps them feel great. Or whatever your motivation, I want you to know I appreciate the chance to explore this with you because it's my mission, literally, the whole reason I do this job, to help you achieve your potential. You might have heard of some of our in-home fitness programs like P90X, 21-Day Fix, or Insanity. Maybe you heard about Shakeology, our incredible superfood nutrition shake, or some of our other amazing nutritional supplements, all of which are made of the highest quality ingredients and have been rigorously tested and proven to help people succeed in reaching their health and fitness goals. But what you might not know is that since 2007, there have been thousands of coaches behind these programs and products achieving their own goals while helping others get results too. And while not all those coaches pursued ambitious income goals, others really took to the idea. They took the lead, worked incredibly hard, and some have created six-figure incomes. And there's no reason you can't be the next, but it all comes down to one mission: to help people achieve their goals and live healthy and fulfilling lives. What we found was that people who followed our simple and proven solution of combining sensible nutrition, in-home fitness, and the support of a coach, and by support, I just mean accountability to keep their group together and on track. Well, those people are the ones who consistently got the best results. Then what happened is those results attracted other people. And it became clear that this relationship between getting results and turning that into an income opportunity is powerful, because literally anybody can do it. And that's the essence of becoming a coach. The more people you help succeed, the more others want to be a part of what you're doing. And the bigger the opportunity is to earn commissions and bonuses. Now, we've been at this for over 10 years now. And the good news for you is we've paid really close attention to what works and what doesn't. And we've broken it all down into a simple system to help new coaches get started. We call it the Success Club system, with a list of daily activities where we not only show you how to get your own healthy transformation results, but we also show you how to set up and invite people to virtual health and fitness groups, how to use social media to get the word out, how to connect with more and more prospects every day, how to get to what their goals are so that you can recommend the right programs and products to them, and how to get the most out of their program so that you start to build a reputation as a person who really helps people get results. How amazing, right? But here's where the business starts to get very interesting. Each month, as you help more people, the group becomes like a community, and it continues to create this momentum and a life of its own. And they'll continue on, which can help create consistent monthly income for you and a lot of pride in the work that you're doing. Like, you might even inspire some to become coaches on your team, duplicating the exact same success system that you use, creating like this ripple effect of positive, healthy results and even greater income and rewards for you. It's outrageous how fulfilling this business can be. And there's another component which really makes this a fun opportunity: the community that gets created and the opportunity to reward you with not just commissions and bonuses, but also by recognizing and celebrating your achievements. We do it at events, plus we give you chances to earn trips to some of the coolest places in the world. I don't want this to be some leap of faith where you cross your fingers and hope that it works. I want you to feel excited about what you're getting into, excited about helping people with these tools we develop, and a good understanding of what the process looks like. So you understand that physical transformation, that takes time and consistency, and so does your financial success. But if you're willing to give it the time and energy, the potential for financial freedom, and I mean real freedom to work from home, pay off debt, or just have the spending money that'll give you the opportunity to do whatever you want, plus the body and self-esteem to feel great while you do it. Well, that's right on the other side of this decision. And we'd love to have you be a part of this special thing called Team Beachbody. But now, you can't just imagine it. You don't just think about it. You've got to lean in. You've got to start. And I think you have more potential with this than you realize. I know it. So I want you to prove to yourself that you believe it as much as I do, and prove to yourself that you're willing to do what it takes to achieve your goals and seize this opportunity. Well, I'm excited to see you get started, and I can't wait to celebrate your success. Welcome to Team Beachbody.
Awesome. Okay, love that guy. Here's our present, back to our presentation. The whole thing, that's Carl Deichler, our CEO. We'll work backwards from here, Lori. So I'll go about my objection. I actually gave up a photo opportunity with Joel and Shanti to get my picture taken with that man, Carl Deichler. And you might not know who he is yet, but I'm telling you right now, as a person who's been in this business, a skeptical person who's been in this business for 10 years, I am over the cliff for that man, our CEO. He has such integrity for us as coaches and for this business and the amount of people that we can help. So I'm so glad you guys got to hear from him. My objection number 2. I don't want to be a salesperson, and I don't know anything about social media. This was me. I had tried other direct sales in the past, knowing that there was something else out there for me. Like that it wasn't just a traditional job. I went to university. I had a good part of a business degree. And you know, I was a smart cookie. I had some great skills. I had a fantastic business. And I just couldn't imagine me doing this for another 35 years. I knew there had to be something else for me. And I was always trying something different. But the one thing I didn't like about a lot of other direct sales that I did is that you had to carry inventory. And I was like, what am I going to do with, I love makeup and I love this and I love that. And those things are great, but like, I don't want to carry green eyeliner. I don't want to have inventory, and I don't want to do the whole sales thing. I don't want to have to meet people in parking lots and do parties at people's houses. And I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do any of those things. I don't have the space in my house for that. And I don't have the space in my mind for that, because I am an introverted extrovert. I want my time to be my time for myself, my business, my workouts, my family, and that's it. And even when I was a hairstylist and I had my own salon, I didn't even carry a lot of product, because I always kind of was like, I don't want people to walk in here and think I'm selling something. I don't want them to feel like they have to buy my hairspray or buy my shampoo. And then when I came into this opportunity, I was like, oh, well, it's sales. And I know how I feel about sales, so I don't know if I can do this. And then I realized that if I wanted people to get the same feeling and results as I was getting with the programs and products, they were going to have to use the same programs and products. So why would they go to Beachbody? As lovely as Carl Deichler is, why would you go to Beachbody when you can go to Team Beachbody and get the exact same programs and products from a coach and get the support? And I realized that it wasn't selling, it was sharing. And the reason that people were responding to me and wanting to join my group and asking me questions about what I was doing is because they were connecting with me. They were connecting with my story that I was sharing, my journey. And that's not selling. And it didn't feel icky. It didn't make my head scratch. It didn't make all the things that I had preconceived thinking about sales. All of that went away. And I realized that, my gosh, imagine if someone never told me about this. Imagine if they were like, well, I don't want her to think. My life would have never been changed. And then the hundreds and thousands of people on this team that we've created their lives wouldn't be changed as well, not just the people that you've heard from tonight. The other thing was social media. I did not have a smartphone. We had the one big, the big tube computer screen. I remember when I had to get a customer signed up, I would have to either get on the phone or get in front of that computer screen at home. There was not the convenience of social media like we have it right now. I thought everybody was a pedophile on Facebook. Like, I just thought everybody was a predator. I thought everybody was going to hack me. Like, you guys have no idea. I was afraid of everything. I was so skeptical and so judgmental about everything. And look at me now with my social media. You guys learn these tricks and tools as you go. You don't need to be the Instagram reel queen. You don't need to know all the cool things or all the filters or all the whatever in order to be successful at this business. All you need to do is be willing to learn, be willing to work at it, lean in and share your story. And those might be common misconceptions, especially if you look at a coach that, may have been in this business for a long time and has learned for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years like me, right? If you look back at my post from day one, trust me, it doesn't look like a post I would have done today. So never compare your day one to somebody's day 101. Those things you learn as you go. This is a do and learn on the job business opportunity. Over to you, Lori.
So my big objection, both times that I became a coach, was I can't coach because I'm not at my goal weight, or, I'm not quite there yet, or I'm just starting out. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing myself, let alone help other people. But I can tell you that regardless of whatever weight you are, whatever physical condition you are, whatever nutrition background, you name it, you are starting your day one, no matter of that place. And the beauty of coaching is you get to share that experience from that day one, wherever you are, whether you've maybe been participating in your own with a challenge group with us, or if you've never even done a Beachbody workout and are entirely new to the whole Beachbody community. You get to experience it just like your challengers would. You get to talk about it. You get to show your results. You get to talk about your why. And people gravitate to that. Every single coach has people that will gravitate to you. And that's what makes you special. A lot of people get the idea of, well, I can't be that person's coach because I don't look like her or I don't sound like her. Well, they're not coming to you because they want you to look like her, sound like her. They're coming to you because you share something in common with them. Something about your story has touched them and made them stop scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and go, wow, she kind of sounds like me, or her story is very similar. That's why it doesn't matter where you're at. It's a matter of where your drive is and where you're going, because your people that come to you want to be on that journey with you and celebrate with you and also start that journey themselves. So never worry about where you are now, because even if you're at goal weight, your journey is just beginning. You will encounter so many different things. You will probably develop more mentally, spiritually, whatever your journey takes you on, than where you are right now. And every time you show up, your people, your customers, or your new prospects out there are going to get a little piece of that and really resonate with you. And you're going to evolve naturally as this process goes, whoever you are today is going to look different 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. Just like Danielle said, when she first started this business, if you compared her post one to whatever she posted today, not even the visual aspect of it, but who she has changed as a person, even if maybe the physical part stayed the same, I can guarantee what she's putting out there into the universe and to people following her is very different. So never worry about where you are or that you may not have the skill to do it, because the skills will come. But whatever your drive is for you starting this journey, someone's going to feel that same drive themselves and think, hey, this girl's got something, I want to join with her and figure out what it is she's doing, because I need that in my life. So yeah, never worry about where you are. Just worry about where you're going tomorrow, one day ahead. That's all you got to be, one day ahead.
I absolutely love that. And that's so true. You know, I remember we had a coach on one of our team calls, guys, and we have team calls. And if you can't make them, they're recorded just like this, which is really great when Rachel talked about time management. And what makes you a professional and what makes you qualified to help other people is that just what Lori said, you start today and you have the right to go back and hold somebody's hand and bring them with you, because you're on day one, day two now, and they're on day one. You're one day ahead of them. That's all you need to be, is one day ahead to get this started. How do you get started? Do you want me to talk about this, Rachel? Okay, she's good. Okay, she's good. So how do you get started? So if you are not yet a customer, or if you are an existing customer, the best way to get started in this business, guys, there is no other thing you need in this business than whatever you would need if you were a customer. Okay, so our challenge packs, our total solution packs, come with our nutrition, supplements, and a full year of our Beachbody on demand. Okay. When you get any challenge pack, you have a free coach sign up. You have a free coach sign up, right? So if you're already a Beachbody on Demand member, all you need to do is, it's a discounted total solution pack for one of our, and your coach will help you with that. And you can get a free coach sign up. You know, it is $39.95 US or $49.95 Canadian to get started. That's 39 pounds as well for our UK and France coaches to get started. But that fee is completely waived just to get your starter pack, which is really, really great. And our CEO, Carl Deichler, made it this way because he wants you guys to have the things you need to be the best version of you for your nutrition and your fitness. And that's it to start your business. That's it. So if you went to go start a brick and mortar business or any other type of business with business plans and getting loans, and let's say it was like a franchise where you had to buy in at like maybe $500,000 and then franchisees fees, $2,000, $3,000 a month, none of that. None of that here, right? Yet you have the opportunity to do as much or as little with this business as possible. Put an income disclaimer. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. What you put into this is your own diligence and skill, depending on the coach. And please see our compensation plan. I think I pretty much got that. But you can do as much you can. We have coaches on our team who celebrate the fact that they can fill their car with their Beachbody income every single month. We have people on our team who, I remember one time Rachel took a picture of her big grocery order in the back of her truck, and she was like, my weekly pay covered this whole entire thing. We have people who have been able to take their kids to Disney because of this business. This is my full-time 6-figure income that I've built. And I've mentored people on this tribe who have also built 6-figure incomes with this business. Okay. So whatever you do with this is possible with time, skill, effort, all of those things. But getting started, it all starts with you and connecting with your coach, getting signed up, plugged in with your challenge pack, your program, and getting locked into some of our amazing coach training, which is done on your own time as well. Okay. So it's really great. It's really great. Is that it? Was that the last slide? Q&A. Questions and answers. I'm going to stop the screen share here. Oh my God, look at all these gorgeous faces. I haven't even been able to look at you guys. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going through the chat here. Yeah, CEO Carl Deichler is one of the most passionate people.
Don't be shy. If there's something that is on your mind and you want to know, ask. This is your chance to get us candid and in the moment.
Or you can drop it in the chat too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it okay if I talk? Honestly, I definitely want to say the biggest thing I struggle with is like keeping up to the media side of things. Like I feel like that I see everyone's posts all day long and I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't got my post in today. And I'm not even a coach. I'm just trying to do it to keep myself going. And sometimes it just feels like I can't keep up to it.
So that's the social media aspect.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And so do you know what, Amber? That just comes with that time management thing again.
Okay.
You know what? There's so many nights I feel you. I get into bed and I'm like, oh no, I didn't even post my workout in the challenge group yet. And those are all things again that, you know, it starts with, you know, we take you through this in the training, you know,
Okay.
where you kind of bank a couple of pictures and a couple of posts. Maybe it's some inspirational quotes that you find on Pinterest and you can save them in an album. And then it gives you some really, really great ideas. And you might start with one post a day and maybe 1 or 2 Instagram stories. And then you build from that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
we give you, you're welcome. I'm really glad you asked that question. And then, you know, my mother is a delivery nurse. She's 73 years old. She just retired and she's been labor delivery her whole entire life. And you know what she always says, and I use this example because when we build a business is like parenting. It's like when we start our fitness journey, the same thing. You would never wake up 9 months pregnant or you would fall flat on your face. Right? She would always said that. So the gestation of a pregnancy is 40 weeks. So I always say, you know, this business, we learn a little bit every day, every week. We grow when we grow. And by the time you get to your 9 months, you don't realize that you've grown into this person who that social media part of it will be like second nature to you. It'll be like a habit you don't even think about.
Okay.
But that's a big one.
The
I love
great
that question.
thing.
Thank you.
The great thing too, if you became a coach and you ran your own challenge group, is Facebook has this lovely thing called scheduling posts. So you don't even always have to have your posts every single day. You can go in, you can schedule it, you know, take a little block of time on a Sunday afternoon. And, you know, social media has evolved that way to make the behind the scenes part a lot easier on you. So that except for like your daily sweaty selfie or whatever you want to put out, those kinds of things as you learn become so time saving and helps get rid of that, oh gosh, when am I going to find the time to do it all? So that's a little tip. Maybe you didn't realize we schedule some of those posts, ladies. We're not as organized, or we are organized, but in a different way.
Somebody in the chat had a question about when, how many times a month do we get paid? We actually get paid weekly, which is pretty incredible. So every Thursday morning into my bank account directly, my paycheck goes for the week before. So that's one of the awesome, amazing things is it's direct deposit. and we don't have to worry about that at all.
So this is Holly, just in case anyone doesn't recognize me in this picture.
Yes.
I had gray hair in that picture and I've rewind it. So I may have missed it because I was on a phone call when the meeting started. But so Rachel, you say your commission goes in weekly. And what is your commission based on? So what are you paid on and what is the commission rate?
Great question. So every single Beachbody On Demand subscription, Body, which is our new interactive platform with live classes, subscriptions, nutrition, challenge packs, any of our products that we sell, we earn 25% commission on all of that. You, on the flip side of that, you also get 25% off your own personal products that you use every single month as well. So that's the first way that we earn income. The second way is once you start to increase and build a team of people underneath you, then you start earning bonuses. And then when you rank a little bit higher up in the company, I don't want to overwhelm too many people, so I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but you actually get to start earning quarterly bonuses on top of that. And those can range anywhere from $1,000 up to 42 grand. So just insert Beachbody disclaimer, big time, but that is, we earn income 3 different ways.
So as a new coach, absolutely. The first way you start earning as a new coach is mainly through your commissions, Holly, which is your 25% on all your commissions. But then you do have, like Rachel said, we have a team cycle bonus that we also earn income on weekly, and also the opportunity for quarterly bonuses as well. So there's great advantage for sure.
Absolutely. It's a great commission structure for the company. That's fabulous.
I love these questions. I know Morgane had some great questions that I answered. I will address, if you don't mind, Morgane, in the, I saw them there. Morgane's from France, and she's a Canadian here, and was just so exciting. And she's a challenger on our team and a future coach as well. And she asked a great question in the event, which was, you know, do we have a lot of bilingual groups and things like that? And so I answered to her that we do have corporate representation, French, English, and Spanish, no matter where you live, North America, UK, Canada, and all of our, everything from the back office, our FAQs to our challenge group guides. So like, let's say you got a bunch of people together and you wanted to do your own group. They actually provide posts for you to use and pictures for you to use if you choose. And those all come in all 3 languages as well. So it is so great because you have the ability to do a bilingual group and have all of those resources in both languages at your fingertips, or have a French group or an English group or a Spanish group. So you can really not only tailor your own business to the people who you are going to serve, your customers, your coaches, your prospects, but you also have that support from corporate in your language of choice, whether that be Francophone, French, English, Spanish. We have lots of representation right across the board, which is really great, especially here in Canada, because we have a very large French population. Actually, some of our Quebec and French coaches are some of the top business people, not just in Canada, in the organization from Quebec, right? And some of them are first language French and are just learning English. And they're just doing such a spectacular job, and they run their groups mainly in 90% French. So I thought that was a really great question, Morgane. I hope I answered it, everything. Good.
Yeah, but honestly, I know today I have a lot of questions. I also ask questions in the chat, sorry.
No, it's
But
good.
yeah, it's becoming more concrete because so I'm still struggling to have my SIN number to have the possibility to start, but it will come very soon. But yes, my biggest concern or my biggest fear, I should say, is when you are starting from yourself only to, so I think it's easier when you have a team of 4 or 5 because you can show to others like, see how we are working out together, how we report together, how is the group working and everything. I'm afraid for the steps between 0 to 4 or 5 people. How did it begin for you for the first one, the second one? Was it a close friend? Was it your family, your mom, I don't know, your best friend? Or what was the beginning for you all?
That's a great question. That's a great question because I think we all think like, who's going to join me? Like, how am I actually going to get this started? And you're totally right, Morgane. It all starts with one. We all start with, Amber loves that question too. And we all start with just us, even me. I started with just one. Lori started with just one. Valencia started with just one. Rachel started with just one. And most people get a friend or a coworker or a family member. And just having that first person to say, yeah, I'm going to do this with you. For me, it was my husband, and he was very reluctant and very no, but I was like, you're doing this and you're doing it with me. So he did it with me. A lot of my friends actually weren't interested. Now, I'm the rarity because you guys all have people in your life. You all have ride or die people in your life where if you said, listen, I need you to help me with this, even if you just give me 3 months, let's do this together. We're going to feel amazing. And I could really use your support. We all have those people in our lives to give us those early wins. And when you have that 1 or 2 people who help you with that early win, it feels so great, right? Helen is saying, I was so worried about that too. I only started with post and one person joined and then another, and then some more jumped in and on my group, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So Helen, please feel free to unmute yourself if you want to answer this question. Helen's a new coach and she's helped more people this month than I have.
Yeah, but it is, I think it's probably the scariest part. I know it was for me because I was like, I don't really know anybody that's interested in joining. And I was kind of encouraged to do it anyway. And I put the post up and I was really surprised when a couple of people had answered, and then, somebody had joined and then somebody else, and people have trickled in, and it's just kind of great to see. And I think the more that people are kind of seeing the progress, then it makes people feel a little bit more motivated as well. So yeah, and I'm not really concentrating on the end result. It's just going and doing my thing every day, and really kind of checking in with the group and them helping me be accountable, and I think that's been a big part of it. And the support you'll get from the rest of the team is incredible. So thanks for that.
That was a great answer. I love that. Thank you, Helen. We got a question here. I don't know who iPhone is.
I'm going to tackle this one.
Yes. The question is, I'll read the question. Yep. You can answer it for people who can't see it on the recording. The question is, have you had any objections from significant others or family about it being a pyramid scheme and not to do it? And everybody's nodding. Of course, that's such an old way of thinking. So a lot of people have that. Go ahead, Rachel.
So from the very beginning, my husband said, I will give you 3 months. And if you don't make anything in the first 3 months, then you have to quit because we can't afford it. That was 4 years ago now, since we've been there. And honestly, the what it took for him to overcome that was I actually had to sit him down and tell him what I was doing. Because most of the time people don't understand. And that's okay. It's not their job to understand and see our vision and why we want to do something. But we do have to keep them informed and share that with them. So I share when I have somebody that's signed up and I'm helping somebody new. And I share when and what I'm doing and how much income that we're actually making into our family, because that money goes into our family. It's not just for me, it's our whole family's income. So I share that with him. He takes part and listens on team calls. He listens when we do sneak peeks like these. He listens on trainings that I take part in so that he gets to see all of that as well. And he also has met quite a few of the other ladies on our team and the other husbands and all of that sort of thing. So he knows that it's not just something that I'm doing or something that I'm dabbling in, right? And I share that vision and that goal and how we're going to get there with him. And I become very passionate about that myself. With other family, this is another big one for me because I've struggled with it a lot and I still continue to struggle with it 4 years in, is people are waiting for me to quit and they're waiting for us to give up. So we just have to be very stuck in what we want and that vision and why we're doing things, and realize that their judgment and the things that reasons that they think this is a scam and all of that sort of thing has absolutely no truth to it and has absolutely nothing to do with you. It is everything to do with them and their fear of you going to a better place than they are and them being stuck where they are in their own life. So that's a big one that a lot of people have to overcome. And one of the things, part of our job as a coach, is we work on personal development every single day. So every single day, we work on loving ourselves more and more and more, and caring less about what other people think and caring less about what other people's opinions are, and becoming more in love with ourselves so that we can make those decisions for ourselves, right? So it's taken a lot of work, but it is possible to overcome all of that.
And pyramid schemes are illegal.
Absolutely.
So that's just an old mentality from the 1980s. Okay. And so it's just an education that a lot of people just aren't used to. Actually, multi-level marketing is the #1 growing industry and has been for both the last 8 to 10 years. So I think technically a pyramid scheme is like when you get in at the top and then I don't know. I don't really know how it works. I know
there's no products exchange with a pyramid scheme. So it's like the promise of something. So you pay this person so much money and there's no actual products exchanged. That's the real true definition.
Yeah. So that's not us. Yeah. And so they're illegal in North America. We are also governed by lots of different legislations in North America to make sure that everybody's doing everything right and all those sort of things, which is really, really great. And just to show, like, I always like to tell this example of people who, about that comes up so often, is it a pyramid scheme? Is it a pyramid scheme? So on our team, I can give you 2 names of people who I have mentored on this team who have met my income and surpassed my income. Because their teams grew, they had more diligence and skill, they put more effort in, they did extra than I did, and they grew their business and income past my level of income. Isn't that awesome? Like, isn't that amazing? Because the sky is the limit. So I always love to use that example so that people know it's not like one person at the top. It is that way a lot in most businesses. There's a president, a CEO, and then there's a manager and a district manager. And then there's the night shift manager. and then there's the worker, and then there's the janitor, and then there, do you know what I mean? So usually in like corporate America or more places like even McDonald's, that is a more of a pyramid than actually here at Team Beachbody. Ironically. Great question.
I'm gonna grab Holly's question here. Saturation of the market, basically. There's so many coaches, and is there any, is there room for another new coach? Absolutely. When Danielle first started and social media was here, it would be much different than it is now. So you would only probably reach out to your most inner circle, and they might be reach out. Now with social media, you're connecting to people via Instagram or Facebook, with people you've never met before because they see your stories or whatever. Like I have girls on my team that are from all across Canada, the United States, and I've never met them. The only way I met them was by connecting online. So the market for myself, I live in Nova Scotia, and Holly happens to be in the same area as me. There are still so many people that haven't been touched or haven't joined that part of Beachbody, even in your local market. Even if there was 100 coaches in your local market, there's 100,000 people in your community still waiting. Kind of like if you look at the doctor shortages right now, like everybody needs a doctor. Everybody, the health industry is probably needed more now through COVID than it's ever been. We are in lockdown in communities. Our kids are going online. A lot of times they're just going back to school. People are nervous to go into their gyms because of catching things. Our gym never closes unless you lose power or your internet. But even if you lose that, you can download your workout still and access it. So that is the great thing, is we're just starting to even tap into this market. Even though Beachbody went on digital back in 2016, is that correct? We're only 6 years into this component. I was just thinking about how when I started, I had a DVD, and then this year, just a couple of months ago, we launched Beachbody On Demand Interactive, which has a whole new platform starting next month even. So not only do you have access to the actual workouts, now there's live workouts. You can work out on behind the screen with one of the trainers if you get a spot. So people who may have been coaching and the market gets saturated, people quit along the way as customers. They don't know this brand new Beachbody yet. They don't know you as a coach, and there's always going to be new blood coming into there. And we have mixed bikes that just came out in the United States. If you're familiar with Peloton, it's a whole new level. The price points are even lower. We're finding out tomorrow what the price points are coming in Canada. They're coming. So this is all new. We are expanding into other markets in the upcoming years. There's a list of countries coming. So if you have friends in these countries, there's more opportunity there. Like, we are growing as a company. It's exciting because you're not tapping into just Mary Jane down the street. You are starting to be able to reach the world, which is really cool, coming from the privacy of your own home or in your car or wherever.
I love it. So much on the horizon. Thank you for all these questions, guys. This is amazing. Any other questions before we hop off tonight? Yeah, so many people want those bikes in Canada. More coming at you with that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Lori and Rachel and Helen, for popping on with your feedback there. Your questions have been great, guys. So next up, guys, if you are watching this recording, or if you're watching live, reach out to your coach. Reach out to your coach. They will get you set up. They will get you started. They will give you your first steps to success, a getting started right mentor call, and also in our new coach mentorship. So I hope to see you all in Inspire Tribe, and see you on the team call and the team page. Rocking your goals. Thanks. Bye, guys.